Dubai, the city of gold, skyscrapers, and over-the-top luxury. But today, I'm doing something most travelers would never dare to try. I booked the cheapest hotel in all of Dubai, the kind of place you only choose when you read desperate or insane. And then, on the very same day, I switched to the most expensive hotel in Dubai, the one you see in viral TikToks where a single night can cost more than a month's rent. And let me tell you, the difference between these two hotels? It's not what you think, because something happened inside the cheap hotel that I wasn't prepared for. And something inside the expensive hotel that left me questioning everything I thought I knew about luxury travel. Let's begin. I'm Jonathan, and I travel the world testing travel hacks, cheap deals, and once-in-a-lifetime experiences, so you don't have to waste your money. I've stayed in hundreds of hotels, but Dubai taught me something I've never experienced anywhere else. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which hotel style is worth your money and which one to avoid at all costs. I spent 2 hours scrolling through listings, filtering by lowest price, free cancellation, and please don't be a scam, and then it appeared. The cheapest hotel in Dubai, $18 per night. Yes, $18. In one of the most luxurious cities on the planet. The listing photos already made me nervous. The rooms looked like they were lit by a single flickering bulb. The bathroom. Well, let us just say the angle of the camera felt like it was apologizing for what it was about to show me. And then came the reviews. One person wrote, "Perfect if you don't mind mystery noises at night." Another said, "Great location if you enjoy staying extremely close to strangers." And my personal favorite, the room was clean. I think, hard to tell with the lighting. Everything in me said, don't do it. But this is Dubai. I had to know if it was truly as bad as people claimed, or if travelers were just being dramatic. So I booked it, clicked confirm, and as soon as the confirmation email hit my inbox, I already regretted it. Spoiler, people were not exaggerating. The moment I stepped through the front door, I knew the online photos had been optimistic. The lobby felt like it hadn't been updated since the early 90s. The air was thick, not dirty, just heavy, like it had absorbed every story, argument, and cigarette for the last 2 decades. I could hear conversations clearly through the walls, even though I couldn't see anyone. At one point, a voice from behind a pillar said quietly, "Are you sure you want to stay here?" I still don't know if he was talking to me or to himself. I'd come this far. I walked up to the reception desk. Kin was chaotic. There were stacks of papers everywhere, like someone was running the place using a filing system invented in a hurry. The man behind the desk was arguing loudly with someone in the back room. I just stood there holding my passport like a confused tourist who wandered into the wrong universe. After several minutes of shuffling, confusion, and unclear instructions, they finally handed me my key. A physical key, not a card. One of those big metal keys that jingles like you're unlocking a treasure chest. I walked down the hallway, and each step echoed a little too loudly. Then I opened my room door. The moment the light flicked on, I stopped walking. Just froze. The bed was slightly slanted, like one of the legs had given up years ago. The blanket looked thin enough to be a bedsheet's younger cousin. Bathroom door refused to close all the way, it just bounced back every time I tried. The smell was a mix of old cigarette smoke, dust, and something I still can't identify. I kept trying to convince myself it was on tea that bad until I checked under the bed. And that's when I found the thing that made me say, okay, this was a mistake. I'll tell you exactly what I found in just a minute. After surviving the cheapest hotel, I wanted the complete opposite experience. The kind of hotel that doesn't just feel expensive, but feels unreal. So I booked a night at the Burj Al Arab, the world's only so-called 7-star hotel. The price? $2,300. For one night. Just saying it out loud made my wallet flinch. But the moment my taxi rolled up to the private bridge, everything felt different. The air smelled like luxury, literally, because they pumped custom fragrances into the driveway. 2 staff members opened my door at the same time, smiling like I was royalty returning from a long journey. Inside, it was like stepping into another dimension. The lobby didn't look designed by humans. It looked designed by a billionaire with no budget and no limits. Marble floors, water fountains dancing in perfect patterns, gold everywhere, not gold-colored. Actual gold accents that sparkled under lights the size of small suns. Staff member handed me a golden iPad, not an iPad with gold, a gold-plated iPad. Then a personal butler walked up and introduced himself. He didn't tea, just checked me in. He escorted me to my suite like I was entering a private VIP palace. When the door opened, I almost forgot to breathe. The room was massive, 2 floors, a spiral staircase, and windows stretching from floor to ceiling with ocean views that didn't even look real. My living room was bigger than the entire cheap hotel building. The couch felt like it could swallow you in the best way imaginable. The bed, it didn't feel like a mattress. It felt like sleeping on a cloud built out of money, happiness, and good decisions. And the bathroom? Oh, the bathroom. It wasn't a bathroom. It was a spa, bigger than my first apartment. Gold-plated shower fixtures, a giant jacuzzi tub, robes so soft it felt like being hugged by a luxury fabric angel. Everything was perfect, flawless, insanely high-end. But then something happened, something I did not expect inside a $2,300 per night hotel. Something that made me question whether this extreme level of luxury was actually worth the price. And it all unfolded later that night. I'll explain exactly what happened next, and why it surprised me in the next chapter. Let's rewind for a second. Back to the cheap hotel. Remember the thing I found under the bed? Yeah. It was a half-eaten sandwich, wrapped in a crumpled napkin, the kind of discovery that makes your soul quietly leave your body. It looked like it had been there long enough to have its own passport. That moment told me everything I needed to know about the cleaning standards. If they missed that, what else did they miss? But then something strange happened, something I didn't expect at all. Once the staff realized I was a traveler exploring Dubai on a budget, their entire energy changed. They started opening up, gave me tips on where to eat real, authentic food, not the overpriced stuff tourists are funneled into. They pointed out places where taxi drivers try to overcharge visitors. They even told me hidden stories about the city, stories you will never hear in a luxury lobby where everything is scripted and polished. For a moment, it didn't feel like a hotel. It felt like a community. Raw, imperfect, human. And there was something beautiful about that. Then I walked back into the Burj Al Arab, and instantly, everything returned to flawless perfection. The staff moved with precision. The hallways smelled like luxury perfume. Every surface shined. Every moment was choreographed. But here's the thing I didn't expect. It all felt distant, almost too perfect. Like everything had been polished until there was no room left for real human connection. And that's when it hit me. Luxury gives you comfort. Yes. The budget gives you stories. One gives you a world where nothing goes wrong. The other gives you a world you'll never forget. And somehow, both are priceless in their own way. So, after all of this, the big question is, which one should you stay in? Here's the truth. The kind of truth nobody on Instagram ever tells you. If you want comfort, convenience, safety, and zero surprises, the luxury hotel wins. Obviously. It's designed to take every single inconvenience out of your life. You walk in and instantly feel like the world is working for you. But if you want adventure, authenticity, and the kind of stories you'll tell for years, sometimes the cheapest place, the place you book with low expectations, ends up giving you a more meaningful experience than the $2,300 palace ever could. Because luxury gives you perfection. The budget gives you perspective. Here's my honest advice. Especially in a city like Dubai, stay somewhere in the middle, not the extremes. Extreme luxury can make you forget the real world. Extreme budgets can make you question your life choices. But the mid-range hotels, they're the sweet spot. You get comfort without chaos. Clean rooms without the gold-plated price tag. Good service without feeling like everything is staged. And most importantly, you can still explore the city without blowing your entire travel budget in one night. In Dubai, the middle ground is where the magic and the value truly is. Now, if you think the hotel comparison in Dubai was shocking, wait until you see what happened when I traveled to the most underrated country in the world, a place almost nobody talks about, but honestly, it might be one of the best destinations I've ever visited. I'm talking about Georgia, the country, not the US state. A land of ancient castles, insane mountain views, unreal food, and prices so low they almost don't make sense. But the crazy part? There's a reason travelers skip it. What I discovered there completely surprised me. So if you want to see the country that absolutely blew me away, the one destination I now recommend to everyone, click on the next video. I traveled to the most underrated country in the world. Why nobody talks about it, trust me. You're going to want to see this.